Hello, my name is Bjorn and I'm a villain. Today, I'd like to tell you a story about how I got and drew my first ever commission on VGen, so let's get straight into it as I don't like dragging out the narrative. Starting off, I'd like to underline that I am a very small artist without any substantial following and I am yet to develop a loyal fan base, so I think I'm relatively right to believe that my experience is quite relatable to other small creators like me. I've got less than 200 followers on Instagram and my TikTok page only got 30, so yes, I'm not even a micro creator, so you can relax and chill knowing that we're alike for real for real. Based on that you clicked on this video, I'd assume that you already know what VGen is, but if you clicked because you saw words commission and first in one sentence, I'm down to explain. VGen is a platform where you can find cool creatives and commission them to do your bidding in creative sense. The most popular services that you can find on the platform are custom character illustrations, live 2D rigging for VTubers, emoji pack designs, and stream overlays for Twitch and YouTube enthusiasts. You get the gist. The customers can register on platform freely, but creators have to get an invitation in order to open their creator account, which they're gonna use to provide their services. This invite has to be provided by a fellow VGen artist who already is up on the website, so it might be a bit of a headache. Because of this limitation, I was not able to join for a few months, but eventually I got lucky and got my invite from a lovely fellow artist, Mido. Please check out her VGen account in Instagram and show her some love, as this video wouldn't be up by now without her help. After acquiring the invite, I've spent some time setting up my prices and services, filled up my portfolio, and was excited to finally start drawing to order. But as it usually happens, it's not that easy to attract customers on a new account. Considering that my other social media accounts aren't really that active because I'm constantly either depressed or artistically constipated, I've got almost zero chance to catch an eye from literally anyone, so I was prepared to fail and never receive a request. My VGen account was created back in March and my first and only commission request came in July. I did not do any promotions for my services on social media after I first launched my account, so it came practically out of nowhere and was a bit of a scare jump. But I considered requests, entertained the idea, and was very hesitant to accept at first, but decided to take on it in the end. My first ever customer was a Twitch streamer under the nickname Mischief and Murder, which I really adore as a fellow evil name bearer, and they had a very specific and interesting request. Their streaming partner is Spider Guts on Twitch, by the way. Please go and check them both out. If they both weren't so generous to give me the permission to make a YouTube video about this experience, you will not be watching this right now. As I previously mentioned, this commission is based on Minecraft and original characters that belong into Minecraft universe, so it might be a little difficult to understand the lore if you're not familiar with the game. If you are, good for you, but I personally am not a gamer, so I got genuinely confused over some lore details that I had to understand before taking over the piece. So if you're just like me and are blissfully unaware of what's going on, let me assure you that we're in this together. I am going to very simply describe the situation that will be depicted by me further by quoting the original customer's request. And I quote, "Essentially, what's happening in lore is that Miriam touches the portal and it sends a signal to Vale that it's open, so Vale comes out of the portal to kill that guy since the two of them have some bad blood, though Miriam doesn't remember." I really hope I didn't butcher any names here. Okay, so the commission request goes as follows. I had to draw 3 sequential shots in following order. First is the shot of a winged character, Miran, from the back with his hand on the portal, and nothing in the portal. Second shot is depicting a black clawed hand reaching over the edge. And the third and the last shot is of the Enderman character, Vale, rising from the portal and glaring menacingly down at Mirren. Mirren and the background can be entirely the same, the only thing that needs to change is what was described. After much deliberation and one long flight during which I had nothing better to do but whip out my iPad to entertain myself, I sketched the initial illustration ideas for each shot and sent them for an approval as soon as I landed. My dear customer proved to be very communicative and fast to respond despite a whopping 8 hours time difference, so I've got the reply very fast. After I slept my jet lag away, we jumped onto a Discord call discussing the further development and ideas for each shot, and I explained my inspirations behind the poses, gave recommendations, received feedback, and we together picked the best sketches that would undergo further development. After that step, I started the drafts cleanup to bring in more definition and better understand what direction to follow with each shot. I based the pieces on such inspirations as Aries from DreamWorks' Sinbad movie and Your Idol music video by Saja Boys from Sony's K-pop Demon Hunters. The customer's favorite color was revealed to be purple, so it felt natural to me to reference the iconic purple-infused scenes in the work. I really liked the K-pop Demon Hunters movie and knew early on that the lighting in the final shot would be heavily based on key colors in Saja Boy's final performance with Gima, so the first two shots had to be a prequel to the intense contrasts of the last one. I followed a simple logic determining how much of an action I want to happen in each shot. First shot would be an establishing one, second is an action take, and the third is a resolution that leaves you hanging. This structure went in opposition to the original customer's request, but thankfully my vision was quickly accepted. Establishing shot. Because the establishing shot is used to set up the mood for the following action, I knew that I couldn't do much with it in a sense of dynamic and, speaking frankly, I am not very good at drawing dynamic poses, although I am trying to improve. This shot had to have a calm mood with a lingering feeling of otherworldly presence in the air, so I planned to make it more muted and dull in colors. I did, however, want to make the light emitted from the portal to be more intense than it turned out to be, but my skills weren't sufficient enough to pull off the complex lighting set I had in my head. Originally, it was going to be a three sources light setup. The main light source from the portal, the second from the torches on the wall bouncing off the character's back, and the final one, a faint greenish glow emitting from the eyes in the opposing wall. The greenish glow from the eyes went into a strong contradiction with the portal light because of the difference in colors values, so I struggled a lot trying to blend these two in an eye-pleasing way but ultimately failed. The backlighting ruined the composition and drew too much attention to the back of the character instead of a portal, so I had to mute it almost entirely, which I'm not very proud of. The first shot is my least favorite because I feel like I severely underperformed on it, and the only idea that I do enjoy in it is the shadow scrolling on the wall. I came up with their visuals spontaneously, and they're the most interesting part in their composition, except maybe the hand resting on the portal. Action shot. Second shot in the sequence is my favorite out of the three, and surprisingly, it's the one I spent the least time working on. It was my first time paying so much attention to drawing hands, and I'm honestly very proud of myself for pulling this off and laying out the complex lighting onto the surfaces. It might not seem so complex to you because I shaded it in a very cell look animation style and used exclusively hard edged shapes, but I think that it contributed to the intensity of emotions and action depicted in the image and that it looks more punchy and into your face because of that. I wanted to give it a look of a very high-end production anime shot, and I can proudly say that I've succeeded in achieving the look that I aimed for. I did, however, miss the mark with the fabric on the sleeve that got ripped by the Enderman's claws. I was going to emphasize this detail and draw more focus to it by adding some blood, but decided against it and centered the interlocking point instead, which was a much easier and obvious solution. Culmination shot. The culmination shot is the one that I got the opportunity to flex my muscles and experiment in the most. I rarely get the opportunity to play with harsh lighting like this one, so it was a fun and challenging experience. For this shot, I leaned very close into the inspiration material and tried to sample K-pop Demon Hunter's color palette to the best of my abilities without actually using an eyedropper tool. The lighting setup in such a boy's final performance is primarily magenta pink with dim dark blue soft scattering acting as a supporting light source. It was the first experience working with backlight and trying to confine it behind the character without making the face and overall figure looking flat. But since keeping all lighting sources in the back would make the distance between the characters insignificant and make the scene underwhelming, I put a little flames barrier between them to emphasize the contrast. There is also a very faint backlight source hiding behind the shot that lays its light on the front character's back, but I was afraid to intensify that in order to keep the focus on the Enderman, who is a centerpiece. For the light render, I mostly used a standard CSP's oil paint brush and watercolor blue. I don't think that using texture brushes will be a practical solution because the shot is seen from a distance and you will not be able to see the textures clearly anyways, but I did pay a lot of attention to the gradients execution and how I wanted one color to be blended with another. Overall, I enjoyed my time conjuring this all together quite a bit, and now I know that I am indeed somewhat capable of working with multiple light sources if I put my mind to it. In general, my first commission experience went nice and smoothly, and I got very lucky working with a patient and enthusiastic client that supported a lot of my ideas and was very collaborative. As an anxious person, I need to have a constant reassurance that I am indeed doing everything correctly and require regular approvals on all stages of work. I'm trying to work on that to the best of my abilities and be less intimidating to provide a better service experience, but I guess I'll have to take on more commission work in order to see whether or not I've been succeeding in these improvements. I think the described experience will be truthful for most artists who are only starting to accept commission orders or haven't offered their services to the public yet, but actively thinking of that. Be prepared to get your first com and that get radio silence. It sometimes just is like that because you've got no reputation on the market yet, and that's okay. We can be broke together. Special thanks. In the end, I would like to express a big thank you to all my supporters on Twitch who made it possible for me to reach a Twitch affiliate status this month. Bach Addict, Reverse Pastry, and Kumori Mule. Thank you guys for watching me work on this commission live and continuously showing up for my streams. It really does hold me accountable and makes me work harder when I know that you'd be watching. Also, a shameless plug for those who don't follow me on Twitch yet. I stream there on an almost daily basis, and my Twitch username is the same as I have here on YouTube. It's twitch.tv/bjornvillain. Twitch.tv/bjornvillain. I would also like to express a special thank you to my coffee supporter Jojo the Drip, who subbed to me at the highest glacier tier. I really appreciate you liking my art so much and you inspire me to do better. I hope to bring more videos for you in the future, but unfortunately my perfectionism gets in the way and it's very hard to combat it. I'm trying to live more in the present and do things as I go instead of refining them over and over until I get sick. So please leave a like or a comment under this video if you want to see more content like this. My name is Bjorn and I'm a villain. And I guess I'll see you around.